Hey, what's going on, guys? We just wanted to parlay from a baseball question that we had an athlete. He wanted to see how to structure his off-season, preseason, and in-season, how his training should look and differentiate as through the times of the year progress. So we're gonna do the same thing to football because I think a lot of you guys probably had the same question. So we're gonna cover what that looks like for football. So again, quick overview. So again, quick way to read this chart. We got the off-season, preseason, in-season. Again, dedicated times throughout the year. So let's say off-season for a football player is from December to April. Preseason, we'll go from May to July. So, start doing OTAs, mini camps, 2 days, all that fun stuff. And then we're in full season right over here once it hits roughly August. So again, that's just a rough timeline. It may not be exact, that's okay. And again, from over here is kind of like the hierarchy of importance of exercises. So again, speed is typically the first priority, power, strength, and auxiliary. Again, this mixes and matches throughout the year. But again, this is just a rough template that we're gonna run through as how you can individualize and customize your training. So again, you start very general in the off season, build a foundation, and get more specific and make sure all the work that you're doing translates into a better performance on the field, because again, we don't have weights on the football field, so you need to make sure that you move well, you're powerful, and you're ready to rock. To make things even more specific, so we get more detail for you guys, we're going to use a specific person. So we're gonna use a football lineman. So again, we have tons of demands. It depends on what position you play, what kind of scheme your coaches run, and kind of, if you run like an Oregon type of offense, up tempo, you gotta be in different conditioning. Or if you're a little bit more smash mouth pro style, like Wisconsin or something, where you just kind of line up and just bulldoze people, your training needs to reflect that. But again, we're just gonna use a defensive lineman for now. So we're gonna start with speed for this lineman. We're gonna start in the off season, work our way preseason, and come back to the in season, okay? So for this lineman, we're gonna start with speed. Again, we're gonna go through all the way through off season to in season training of what that should look like. So in the off season, probably wanna start a little bit more with resisted sprints, okay? And resisted sprints, I'm gonna write that in real quick. Resisted sprints. And again, the reason we want to do resisted sprints, again, linemen, they're typically bigger guys, so we can do a lot less joint loading, so we can still train speed. Again, it's gonna be a little bit more strength oriented because they're pulling weight, but again, it's to take a lot of stress off their joints and help build strength, not only for their muscles, but their ligaments, their tendons, and things like that. So, and again, reduce stress on their knees and ankles. So resisted sprints, or again, uphill sprints, we have tons of different variations that we could do. And again, we're starting with a higher volume because again, it's very generic, it's in the off season, so it's very general. So let's say we're doing 8 to 12 reps of sprints and say it's going 10 to 20 yards, okay? May even do a little bit longer because again, it's in the off season, it's very generic and general, so we're working on the capacity, so the amount of work that they can do. And as you can see, is we're gonna go in season, we're gonna get more specific. Going into speed training for pre-seasons, how can we make it more specific? We can do sled sprints. And we'll do them heavy. Because again, we're gonna do them heavy because they're in the trenches. They have a lot of battling. So meaning they engage someone a lot and they either have to drive them back or again, obviously pass protect. So we still wanna keep it specific to speed training. So we wanna keep the duration of the exercise should last less than 10 seconds. So we can either do it timed or obviously we can do it, but distance. But again, we want to stick under that 10 seconds if you do the distance-based version of this. So we can say again, we're gonna go say 6 to 10 reps. And we can go anywhere from, again, probably 10 to 20 yards. Again, it depends on the weight and also the time it takes the athlete to do that. But again, your goal is to move as fast as possible. Progressing at one final step, taking our speed training in season to make it more specific and transferable. So we are going to take our sled sprints plus release, okay? So again, as a strength coach, you need to be very adaptive to what's going on. So again, the prime thing is obviously your sport, so we do not want to pull away from your sport at all, guys. The reason we chose the sled and release sprint, because again, it doesn't have any eccentric stress. So if you think of like a squat, for example, the lowering portion of it, and really any exercises causes the muscle damage and soreness. So again, we don't need that in season because we need you guys fresh. You get beat up during practice, during the games. So the sled is purely concentric based, which actually is going to help you recover more. And again, it's going to be a little bit more specific because again, let's say we push the sled for 5 yards and release for another 5 yards. So again, just like say you're pulling or again, whatever you guys need to do. So again, sled release, very low volume, let's say, 3 to 5 reps. And again, 5 to 5 yards of say a sprint, get off your block and then again, release for another 5 yards. All right, so now let's look at some power training for alignment. So what are some things that they can do in the off season? One is an example, we can do single leg box jumps for them. So again, single leg box jump. Again, we could really do tons of different stuff. This is just one example. The two important factors go into this exercise selection. So number one is the fact that it's single leg. When you're on one leg and you have to overcome your entire body weight, your foot's on the ground for longer. So it's gonna be a little bit less powerful, a little bit more strength oriented. And then we also wanna make sure that we're jumping on the box. So us landing on the box, the purpose of the box there is that it takes the stress away. So again, from your ankles, your knees, again, for the bigger guys. So jumping on top onto the box is gonna drastically reduce all that extra stress on those joints. So again, single leg box jumps, we're gonna go higher volume in the off season. So let's say each leg we're doing, 6 to 8 sets of 3 to 4 jumps. Again, just focusing on pure explosion. Taking our jump into the next level, into our preseason, getting ramped up for the season. Now we're gonna take our power training, we're gonna do box jumps from a seated position. So box jumps, seated. And then we're also gonna focus on a broad jump. So meaning, I'm not gonna have the box directly in front of me. I'm gonna put the box maybe 3 to 4 feet out in front of me, so that causes you to drive more horizontal force. So again, if you think about engaging someone, you're pushing them back. You don't really care about your vertical forces. You want to drive through them. So again, that's why we're doing a box jump from a seated position, and we're going to focus with a broad jump emphasis. Okay. So again, try to cover more ground and then height. And again, sets and reps. So we can do, say, 5 sets of 3 to 5 jumps, basically reps. And as for sets, we can go, say 5 sets, roughly 3 to 5 reps per set. So again, now take that one step further. Let's go ahead and do in season, and let's go ahead and do the jammer press. So again, the jammer press, there's tons of different variations you can do, but again, that's the one where you get in the cage, drive your hips through, and then again, finish with the arms. Very specific to, again, things that they're gonna be doing in season. So again, just keeping that nervous system firing and a high rate of force development. So again, it can be powerful. Not a lot of stress on the joints. So again, your ankles, knees, and hips, they're safe, so that way you can spend it in practice. So again, great thing in there. And again, we can do, 2 to 3 sets, and then less than 5 reps. Because again, we want to keep the volume low, because again, you guys got so much extra stress going on in practice, and again, preparing for games. So now let's check out what some of our strength training should look like for our linemen. So strength training, again, we got upper body, we got lower body. We're just going to use lower body as an example. But so again, off season, we are going to focus on, let's say we're doing back squats. So again, we'll just use lower body for now. So back squat. And what we're going to do, we're going to really emphasize the tempo. So meaning the eccentric portion of the lift. So slow tempo on the way down. So that 3 to 4 seconds on the down. What this does for athletes, it teaches you how to absorb a lot of force, creates a lot of muscle damage. So again, it's going to build a foundation again with our off season, with our general phase. Again, getting more specific as we go this way. So again, this gives a better foundation so you can be stronger and more powerful when it comes time in season. So again, it's like a game of chess. This stuff that we do here just sets you up for what you're going to do down there. So again, super important. So make sure you get intelligent training, programming, and coaching. All right. So back squat tempos. Again, we're going to be strength emphasis, and we're going to be doing higher volume, meaning a more amount of work, because again, we don't have to worry about practice. We don't have to worry about other things like that. So let's say we're doing 5 sets of 5 reps. So really laying a foundation for strength, because again, in order for an athlete to be powerful, they have to be strong. But again, athletes can be strong and not powerful. So again, super important to remember that and make sure that we transfer our strength into power as we get to in season, so you guys can crush it. Taking our strength to the next level into our preseason, we're still gonna stick with the back squat exercise. We're still doing our back squat. Don't need to get too fancy with that. But again, now we're just gonna do lower volume, a little bit maybe more intense to, again, still build on strength, and again, start converting it to power as we move forward. So let's say we're doing 3 sets of 3 reps. Again, still focus on strength, having the intent to move that bar as fast as possible. So one step further, taking our strength training in season, now we're gonna do pause back squats. So we're still gonna do back squat with a pause. So again, pausing in the hole, so it doesn't have to be a full bottom squat, but again, pretty deep, at least like 3/4 of the way down. And again, what this is gonna do, it's gonna mimic the fact that you cause the pause, just like a football play starts. It starts from a static position for the lineman. You don't start from any sort of moving variation. So this is gonna teach you how to create that raw power, that raw strength right off the bat. Again, you have to pull that trigger. So again, you go down, you do your squat, you're holding the 1, 2, and then you have to fire out and through using your hips. So again, just like you need to fire off the line, things that you guys will be doing in your games. So again, super low volume with this. I'd say probably 2 to 3 sets. And probably 3 to 4 reps. Okay, keeping the volume for that low for you guys, so again, you feel fresh so you can perform. So now lastly, we have some auxiliary exercises. Auxiliary exercises are kind of basically accessory exercises that help develop your primary lifts. So again, your bench press, your squat, your deadlifts. So again, auxiliary exercises, again, could be, incline dumbbell bench presses, it could be hamstring curls, tons of different things. So again, we're not going to go into great detail about that, but we are going to give you some quick adjustments or quick ideas. So again, in the off season, our main emphasis is strength. So let's say a lot of our auxiliary exercises focus on the athletes, their triceps. So again, because you guys do a lot of striking, and then obviously, let's say their hamstrings. So again, when we start doing sprints and getting to practice in season, that your, again, body can withstand that load. Going to preseason, let's say our auxiliary switches now to a little bit more pulling emphasis, because again, you guys have so much pressing and stuff that goes on in front of you. So just to maintain shoulder health. So let's say we really emphasize our auxiliary exercises on back exercise. So we might start switching like a 2 to 1 pull ratio, meaning for every 1 chest press exercise that we do, we're gonna have to do 2 variations, or again, two times the amount of pulling exercises, just to really balance things out for you guys, keep our shoulders healthy, reduce the aches and pains, and again, any sort of nagging injuries. And lastly is our auxiliary training for our in-season. Again, things that would stick along the lines of, again, triceps, and probably a lot of back stuff for you guys. Again, a lot of mobility work, so again, just make sure you guys feel fresh. So this volume, the amount of work auxiliary-wise is gonna go way down, because again, you guys just don't have room for that. So the primary goal of the off-season is to get you physically prepared, get you ready. Pre-season, start making things a little bit more specific, a little bit more powerful, because again, that is what's gonna be demanded of you coming in-season. And in-season is gonna be really focused on maintaining your strength, maybe a very small increase, but again, more maintaining than anything. So that way, when the next off-season rolls around, you don't have to start back from square one, or you didn't take 3 steps back. So it's really important that you athletes still maintain your strength training in season, because again, we can pick off and keep building as opposed to going back and getting back to where we started. So again, Josh from Athletic Preparation here. Go ahead and like our Facebook page or YouTube channel, whatever one you're checking us out on. And we also put together a free 4-week workout for you that focuses really on speed, strength, and power. So go ahead and grab that, and catch you later.